My dear friends, have you ever noticed how some people walk into a room and opportunities seem to walk toward them? As if success secretly knows their address, while others keep trying, keep running, and keep wondering why life feels like a constant chase. Today, I want to reveal something very simple yet deeply profound. Success is not an accident. Success is a habit. And the people who seem effortlessly successful are not lucky. They are disciplined in ways the world never sees. There are 9 habits that silently attract success into your life, like a magnet draws iron. Habits that work quietly in the background, shaping your destiny even when you're not looking. And if you start practicing them, bit by bit, day by day, your life will move from noise to clarity, from chaos to calm, from wandering to winning. Success, my friends, is not something that arrives suddenly. It grows slowly, like a sunrise. First, there is darkness, then a faint glow, and then a burst of light. But that gentle glow happens only when we build small daily habits that align us with purpose, discipline, peace, and progress. You don't need a miracle for success. You need a mindset, a routine, and the courage to be consistent even when no one is watching. Today, let's explore the 9 habits that attract success into your life. Habits of clarity, habits of silence, habits of self-mastery, habits of progress. If you adopt even one of them today, your entire journey will shift. The habit of early silence is one of the most underrated, yet most powerful practices a human being can bring into their life. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is the presence of yourself. It is the moment when the world is still asleep, when distractions have not yet awakened, when your mind has not been pulled in 100 different directions. In that sacred hour, life gives you a chance to meet the most important person you will ever know, yourself. And when you start your day by meeting yourself before meeting the world, something remarkable begins to shift within you. Your thoughts become softer. Your emotions become clearer. Your decisions become wiser. Because you are no longer reacting to life, you are responding from a space of inner stability. Picture this. Most people wake up with chaos. The alarm goes off, and instantly the mind starts racing. Messages to reply to, tasks to complete, people to deal with, places to go. Before even stepping out of bed, their mind is already noisy. And when the first hour of the day is noisy, the rest of the day simply follows that same frequency. It becomes a day where you feel drained without even knowing why. But imagine if instead of beginning the day with noise, you begin it with stillness. You wake up, breathe, sit still, and allow the thoughts to settle like dust in sunlight. You may not realize it immediately, but you are training your mind to slow down, to observe, to choose its direction instead of being dragged by impulses. Early silence is not only a practice, it is a discipline. It teaches you control. It teaches you clarity. You begin to understand your feelings instead of running away from them. You begin to understand your responsibilities instead of stressing over them. And you begin to understand your goals instead of blindly chasing them. When you start your day this way, you have already won half the battle, because you have taken charge of your inner world before the outer world takes charge of you. Think of a glass of muddy water. If you keep shaking it, the water stays cloudy. But if you simply allow it to sit still for a few minutes, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. This is exactly what silence does to the mind. It allows the unnecessary noise, fear, doubt, stress, restlessness to settle, and what is left is clarity. When you act from clarity, you make better decisions. You speak with kindness. You walk with purpose. You live with intention. People often talk about wanting to attract success, but success is nothing more than the result of a clear mind making consistent choices. Silence gives you that clarity. Many people say they don't have time for silence. But the truth is, silence is not something you find time for, it is something you make time for. Even 10 minutes can change your entire day. And the beautiful thing is, silence does not require any equipment, any money, or any special place. You don't need a mountain, a retreat, or a meditation hall. You only need yourself. Sit at the edge of your bed, sit near a window, sit on the floor, or simply sit wherever you are comfortable. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let the world pause for a moment. In those few minutes, you reconnect with the deeper part of you. The part that is calm even in the biggest storms. The part that is wise even in the toughest challenges. The part that is strong even when life feels overwhelming. Let me share a simple example many people can relate to. There are days when you wake up late, rush through your morning, forget something important, and leave the house with frustration. Throughout the day, everything feels off. Traffic feels worse, conversations feel heavier, work feels harder. But think of the days when you wake up peacefully, sit quietly even for a moment, breathe, and step into the day with awareness. Everything flows better. You handle stress better. You communicate with more patience. You move with more confidence. Life didn't change. The world didn't become easier. You did. And that change came from silence. Success is attracted to minds that are stable, focused, and intentional. A restless mind cannot recognize opportunities. A noisy mind cannot hear intuition. A cluttered mind cannot create meaningful ideas. And a stressed mind cannot build long-term success. Early silence clears all these blocks. It makes you more aware of what is important and what is simply noise. It makes you more grateful for what you have instead of worrying about what you don't. It makes you more centered, helping you handle difficulties with grace instead of panic. When you make early silence a daily habit, it slowly becomes your inner anchor. No matter how unpredictable life becomes, you don't get easily shaken. You learn to respond instead of react. You learn to create instead of complain. You learn to observe instead of absorb. And these qualities naturally attract success because you operate from a place of strength, not pressure. Early silence is where you meet your thoughts, reset your mind, gather your strength, and connect with the deeper energy within you. And when you start your day with that connection, you step into the world not empty, but full of clarity, full of purpose, full of calm, and full of inner confidence. People will wonder why you handle life so gracefully. They will think you are lucky, but only you will know that your strength comes from those quiet moments you spend with yourself before the world wakes up. The habit of mindful focus is one of the greatest gifts you can offer to your own life. In a world where distractions chase you from every direction, the ability to give your full attention to one task, one moment, one intention becomes a superpower. Most people don't fail because they lack talent or intelligence. They fail because their attention is scattered like broken glass, pieces everywhere, shining but cut with confusion. Mindful focus is the art of gathering all those pieces into one clear direction. When your mind learns to stay with one thing at a time, life starts moving with a different kind of power. You begin to feel yourself becoming more stable from within, more centered, more aware, and surprisingly more peaceful. Today, our minds are busy even when our bodies are still. A person might be sitting at a desk, but their mind is floating into conversations, notifications, worries, and memories. They may be eating, but scrolling at the same time. They may be talking to someone, but thinking of something else simultaneously. This constant multitasking creates the illusion of productivity, but steals the essence of presence. Think of it this way: a ray of sunlight feels warm, but when that same light is focused through a lens, it becomes powerful enough to start a fire. That is the difference between a scattered mind and a focused mind. Scattered light warms. Focused light transforms. And the same is true for human energy. Mindful focus does not only change what you achieve, it changes who you become. It makes you calmer because you are not trying to live 10 moments at once. It makes you more effective because you are giving your best energy to one thing rather than dividing it into hundreds. And it makes you more fulfilled because you actually experience life instead of rushing through it mechanically. One of the biggest reasons people feel drained today is not because they work too much, but because their mind keeps shifting too fast. A mind constantly pulled between tasks becomes exhausted. A mind anchored to one task gains strength. Let me give you a simple daily life example. Imagine you are writing something important and your phone lights up with a notification. You check it for just a second. Then another message comes. Then you scroll a little. Then you return to your work. But now your mind is scattered. You can't find the same flow again. You lose your rhythm, your creativity, your clarity. What could have taken 30 minutes now takes 2 hours. Not because you lack ability, but because your mind is constantly being pulled away. This is how distractions steal success, not loudly, not violently, but quietly and gradually. Mindful focus means training your mind to stay with one thing fully. When you are working, work with your whole mind. When you are talking to someone, let them feel you are truly present. When you are eating, taste your food. When you are resting, allow your mind to rest instead of scrolling endlessly. And the beautiful thing is, mindfulness does not make things slower. It actually makes things smoother. A mind that is present finishes tasks faster, understands deeper, remembers clearly, and lives more peacefully. Think of a busy morning. You have 10 things to do, but instead of doing them one by one, your mind jumps from one to another. You start one task, stop halfway, move to another, get distracted, return to the first, and so on. By the end, you feel overwhelmed. But imagine doing the same morning with mindful focus. You pick one task, you finish it, then the next, then the next. The tasks may be the same, but the energy you bring is different. With mindful focus, your mind feels light. Without it, your mind feels heavy. And this weight is not from work, but from distraction. Success is attracted to people who can stay with their goals, not just visit them occasionally. Mindful focus helps you commit to your direction. It protects your attention like a guard protecting a precious treasure. It teaches you to choose what deserves your energy and what does not. Once you learn this, you begin experiencing a deep sense of mastery over your own life. Your work improves. Your relationships improve. Your decisions improve. Because you are not reacting impulsively. You are responding consciously. Let me share another relatable moment. Many people try to read a book, but after every page, they check their phone. They say, I want to read more, but their mind is not trained to stay. Now imagine reading with mindful focus. No distractions, no rush, just you and the words. Suddenly, the same book feels deeper. You absorb the message, feel the lessons, enjoy the experience. The book didn't change. The writer didn't change. Your focus changed. And that changed everything. Mindful focus is also a spiritual practice. When you give full attention to the present moment, you connect with a deeper intelligence within you. You become more intuitive, more stable, more connected to the universe's rhythm. You begin to see that most of your stress came not from problems, but from overthinking. Most of your confusion came not from life, but from jumping between thoughts too quickly. Silence gives clarity, but focus gives direction. And once your focus becomes strong, opportunities begin to appear more clearly. You notice what others overlook. You complete what others postpone. You understand what others misunderstand. And this is how success naturally gravitates toward you. Not because you chase it desperately, but because your focused mind becomes magnetic. When you practice mindful focus daily, even for a few minutes, your life begins transforming from the inside. You no longer feel rushed. You no longer feel lost. You no longer feel overwhelmed. You feel aligned, steady, and quietly powerful. You work with depth. You live with intention. You rise with confidence. And slowly, success begins walking toward you. Because the universe always supports those who give their full presence to the moment in front of them. The habit of gratitude is one of the most transformative forces you can bring into your life, yet it is also one of the most underestimated. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a lens, a mindset, a way of seeing life with a deeper awareness. When you choose gratitude, you are not pretending that everything is perfect. You are simply acknowledging that even in the middle of challenges, life still offers you small miracles that deserve recognition. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present, from what is broken to what is still working, from what you lack to what you truly have. And this shift slowly reshapes your emotional world, your mental state, your relationships, and even your success. Because the more you appreciate, the more life gives you to appreciate. Most people wake up thinking about what they don't have, what they haven't achieved, what went wrong, or what might go wrong. The mind naturally gravitates toward lack. But gratitude rewires the mind to notice abundance. Imagine waking up and simply appreciating that you are breathing, that you have another day to try again, that you have opportunities in front of you, that there are people who care about you, that there is food to eat, work to do, and a chance to grow. The world does not change when you do this. The world remains the same. What changes is your energy, your perception, your emotional vibration. And when your inner world changes, your outer world slowly responds. Think of a person who always complains about their job, their family, their finances, their health, their circumstances. Even if something good happens, they find a way to see the flaws. Their energy becomes heavy. Their mind becomes negative. Their relationships become stressful. Now think of someone who chooses gratitude. Their life is not perfectly smooth either. They have challenges, obstacles, and moments of struggle. But they make a conscious choice to acknowledge the good. They focus on progress, not perfection. They look for blessings instead of burdens. This person radiates positivity. People enjoy being around them. Opportunities come more naturally to them. And the reason is simple: gratitude elevates energy. Complaints drain it. Let me share a simple example from daily life. You are stuck in traffic. You can either complain, getting frustrated, angry, restless, or you can shift the perspective. You can use that time to listen to something uplifting, reflect on your thoughts, or simply breathe. The traffic doesn't change, but your inner experience does. Or imagine your boss gives you a difficult task. You can feel irritated, thinking, why me? Or you can see it as an opportunity to grow, to learn, to show your capability. Again, the situation is the same, but your interpretation transforms your emotional experience. Gratitude is powerful because it brings you into the present. When you are grateful, you are not worrying about the future or regretting the past. You are here, fully aware of what is unfolding right now, and the present moment is always richer than we realize. Many people wait for big achievements, big salary, big promotion, big success, before they allow themselves to feel thankful. But gratitude is not meant only for big moments, it is meant especially for small moments. The smile of a loved one, the taste of food, the warmth of sunlight, the comfort of home, the strength of your body, the ability to learn. These are things we often overlook until life teaches us their value. Think of health. When you are healthy, you take it for granted. But if you catch even a small cold, suddenly you realize the value of breathing comfortably, eating properly, and sleeping peacefully. Gratitude makes you appreciate these things before life forces you to. And that appreciation brings joy into your daily routine, not just during special achievements. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you appreciate people, not for their perfection but for their presence, you make them feel seen and valued. A simple thank you to a family member for something they always do, a smile to someone who helps you, or acknowledging the effort of a friend. These small acts deepen connections. People open their hearts more willingly to someone who appreciates their efforts. Gratitude turns relationships into partnerships, communication into understanding, and ordinary moments into meaningful memories. Another beautiful part of gratitude is that it reduces envy. When you are grateful for your own journey, you stop comparing your life with others. You understand that everyone is walking their own path, with their own timing, their own lessons. Gratitude makes you feel complete rather than constantly lacking. It teaches you that success is not measured by what others have, but by how deeply you value what you have. In daily life, gratitude creates emotional resilience. When challenges appear, and they always will, you handle them with a calmer mind. You don't break easily because you remember the good even during the bad. You understand that difficulties are temporary, but blessings are continuous. You realize that everything life gives you carries a purpose. Gratitude gives you the strength to endure with grace. And slowly, gratitude starts attracting more positivity. You notice opportunities faster. You feel more inspired to work. You experience more joy in simple things. You sleep better. You speak kinder. You radiate a peaceful confidence. People admire you without even knowing why. And the reason is that gratitude has polished your inner world so beautifully that it reflects outward as success, stability, and serenity. When gratitude becomes a daily habit, not just a reaction to big moments, but a lifestyle, you stop chasing happiness and start creating it. You realize that life has always been giving you reasons to smile, you just needed to notice them. And once you develop this habit, your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes brighter, and your life becomes richer in ways that success alone can never offer. The habit of discipline is the quiet bridge between dreams and reality. People admire success, they admire confidence, they admire achievement. But what they don't see is the invisible foundation that holds everything together: discipline. It is not glamorous, it is not loud, it is not dramatic. Discipline is steady, consistent, and often unnoticed. But it is the force that shapes your character when no one is watching. It is the promise you keep to yourself even when the world gives you excuses to break it. Discipline is choosing the direction of your life instead of allowing impulses, emotions, and distractions to choose it for you. Most people set goals with excitement, but slowly their enthusiasm fades. Not because they lack ability, but because they lack discipline. Motivation may ignite the fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Motivation is a feeling, discipline is a decision. A feeling comes and goes, but a decision holds your life steady. When you practice discipline, you don't rely on your mood to guide your actions. You rely on your commitment, and that commitment creates powerful results. Think of a student who promises to study for an hour every day. Some days they feel inspired, some days they feel tired, some days they feel distracted. But the student who shows up consistently, regardless of mood, ends up mastering the subject, not because they are smarter, but because they are disciplined. Think of fitness. People join gyms with excitement, buy new shoes, watch motivational videos. But after a few days, the energy drops. The difference between those who transform their body and those who quit has nothing to do with strength or stamina. It has everything to do with discipline. The discipline to show up even when it's raining, even when they're tired, even when they don't feel like it. Discipline is deeply spiritual too. It teaches you mastery over your senses, your mind, and your reactions. When you say, I will do this, and you actually do it, you strengthen your inner self. You begin to trust your own word. You begin to respect yourself, and this self-respect becomes a silent confidence that people feel when they interact with you. You walk differently. You speak differently. You think differently. Because a disciplined mind is a confident mind. Let me share a simple daily life example. Imagine you want to wake up early. The alarm rings. One part of your mind says, wake up. Another says, sleep for 5 more minutes. That 5 minutes has destroyed more dreams than failure ever has. Discipline is choosing that first voice, the voice of commitment. You get up, even though your bed is warm, even though your eyes are heavy. When you do this for several days, the habit forms. And suddenly, waking up early becomes natural. Your mornings become peaceful. You gain time. You gain clarity. That one disciplined decision changes your entire day and eventually your entire life. Discipline is also the art of delaying gratification. It is the wisdom of choosing long-term growth instead of short-term pleasure. You may feel like scrolling on your phone, but discipline tells you to finish your work first. You may feel like eating something unhealthy, but discipline tells you to honor your body. You may feel angry in a heated conversation, but discipline teaches you to respond calmly rather than react impulsively. In small moments like these, discipline protects your future from the harm of temporary emotions. Think of a person learning a new skill. In the beginning, their effort seems invisible. Practicing every day feels slow and repetitive. Progress feels tiny. But slowly, the cumulative power of discipline becomes visible. The skill becomes smoother. Their understanding deepens. Their speed increases. People around them start noticing the transformation. And suddenly they seem talented. Even though the real truth is simple, discipline builds that talent. Discipline also brings emotional strength. When life throws challenges at you, and life always does, a disciplined mind does not collapse. It stays steady because discipline has already trained you to do the difficult things. It has trained you to stay consistent, to stay patient, to stay focused. When discomfort comes, you don't run away from it. You rise above it. This makes you strong in ways that nothing else can. Another beautiful thing about discipline is that it removes the mental burden of decision making. When something becomes a habit, you no longer waste energy thinking, should I do it or not? You simply do it. If walking every evening is a disciplined habit, you won't debate with yourself. You just go. If reading every night is a habit, You won't negotiate with your mood. You just read. This saves mental energy, reduces stress, and builds a sense of stability in your life. And slowly, discipline shapes your identity. You no longer see yourself as someone who gives up easily. You see yourself as someone who completes what they start. This identity becomes the foundation of your self-worth. It affects how people see you, how opportunities come to you, and how confidently you step into new challenges. Discipline may feel difficult at first, but it eventually becomes empowering. It gives you freedom from the chaos of impulses, freedom from the trap of laziness, freedom from the regret that comes from unfulfilled potential. A disciplined person sleeps peacefully because they know they gave their best. They walk with confidence because they trust their own consistency. They achieve their dreams not by force, but by persistence. When discipline becomes a daily habit, your life stops depending on chance and starts depending on your choices. You no longer wait for the right time. You create it. You no longer wait for motivation. You generate your own momentum. And slowly, you begin to experience a powerful truth. Success is not built in sudden moments. It is built in daily discipline.